The Opinion, and I am Michael J. Today, Trump, Russia, and why Canada can't get a fair trade deal. We're going to go more in depth so you understand how the Russia influence is it's a toxic effect. It's populated, it's a virus that's totally taken the White House in the United States. It's creeped into Canada, and it's creeped into Europe. And it's changing things and making things much more difficult than they need be. And so there you go. There you go, folks. Real policy, culture, and power on both sides of the 49th parallel. From free speech to health care, housing to populism. If it matters politically, we're breaking it down. Subscribe for smart, cross-border political insight. 2 countries, 1 conversation. Russian influence and why Canada gets tariffs and not Russia. Like, what's going on here? Trade with Trump isn't about economics. It's about influence. Because Russia avoids tariffs. Well, Canada and Mexico get punished. Makes no sense. Despite offering a combined GDP of Mexico and Canada almost twice that of Russia. So the other factor that it's at play that you've got to be aware of, QAnon. There's been a Russian propaganda machine working in the United States for a long time. You only usually hear it when Trump's in trouble, when they're trying to get Trump elected, keep him elected, and keep his constituents, his base, happy. So that propaganda machine, QAnon, has been exported to Canada and destabilizing discourse. Now let's go to the main screen because this is important. This will tie into what I'm stating. Now here we have Nawrocki, Karol Nawrocki. He's the Polish president, newly elected. And the prime minister is a guy by the name of Tusk. Tusk you'll recognize because you've seen him in many videos before with NATO and the European Union and supporting Ukraine. But this Polish president, Nawrocki, is a Putin puppet. Say it ain't so, Joe, but yeah, he's a Putin puppet. Now, what you also have to understand, Trump has allegedly been fueling American separatists with $500 million in cash in a classic divide and conquer operation. Well, that's how they work. They get in through the back door, divide and conquer, get everybody bickering back and forth, and take you over. So let's take a look at this further in depth so you understand. So there you go. That's Karol Nawrocki. Now, here we have Karol Nawrocki meeting with Donald Trump. Doesn't bring the Prime Minister Tusk down to meet him. Brings Karol Nawrocki in. So what's he got to say here?
A very successful man, but he went into a political hatchet, so to speak. It was a pretty tough race, pretty nasty race, and he beat them all, and he beat them all very easily. And now he's become even more popular as they got to know him and know him better. He's doing a really fantastic job. So it's an honor to. I also endorsed him, so I'm very proud of that. I don't endorse too many people, but I endorsed him, and I was very proud of that. The job.
Yes, he did endorse him. This is true. Now let's take a look at something else here. Kristi Noem. Now this is the New York Post version. It's been shortened because nobody wants to peeve off or get on the bad side of Trump because he sues every media empire and will threaten them with pulling their license so that they cannot operate. This is how autocrats work.
Jest Kristi Noem, sekretarz Bezpieczeństwa Narodowego Stanów Zjednoczonych Ameryki. Powitajmy ją gorącymi brawami!
Hello. Love the hat. Thank you, everybody. That is what we need Poland to do now.
You see this? CPAC, Conservative Political Alliance Committee, right in Poland, and manipulating elections in Poland.
We need you to elect the right leader. You will be the leaders that will turn Europe back to conservative values. By who you elect as the leader of this country, you will open the eyes of the public, of everyone throughout the world, as to what the possibilities are when our two countries stand united for freedom.
So number one, they use the freedom card.
If you had elected a leader that will work with President Donald J. Trump, the Polish people will have an ally strong that will ensure that you will be able to fight off enemies that do not share your values. You will have strong borders and protect your communities and keep them safe and ensure that your citizens are respected every single day. You will continue to have a U.S. presence here, a military presence, Fort Trump, that we can work together for the security of both of our nations. And you will have equipment that is American-made, that is high quality. It matters who's in charge. I have watched over the years as socialists and people that are just like this mayor out of Warsaw, that is an absolute train wreck of a leader, have destroyed our countries.
So the mayor she's talking about is the guy that Tusk, who's the prime minister, is promoting so that they can work together with the European alliance and NATO to make sure Russia does not become a stronger threat to Europe and the world.
Because they have led by fear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So there you go. See, that's a New York Post. It's shortened, it's edited, so it can't show anything that looks more disparaging to Donald Trump than what it does already at this juncture. So let's look at a different clip from a different source to give you a different idea of what's going on here. So here we go. Let's go to the main screen full.
In history, where we are fighting for democracy, we are fighting for our families and their right to live free. I have watched leaders in my lifetime choose to steal it through power, corruption, and fear, and I will no longer tolerate it.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem on Tuesday pushed for Karol Nawrocki to be the next president of Poland while speaking at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Warsaw, decrying his opponent as a train wreck. Nawrocki is a conservative historian backed by the Law and Justice Party, according to the Washington Post. Nawrocki's stand is reportedly not in favor of the European Union, and the candidate is quite skeptical of the same.
Does that sound all right with you? I just had the...
Yeah, to further pontificate upon that point that was just made, Nawrocki is a Putin puppet. Cut and dry, plain and simple. You have to understand that Jared Kushner and Donald Trump Jr. are trying to do developments in the neighboring countries there to Poland, who are trying to put in Russian puppets as well. Romania, which is very close, had two brothers that were sex peddling. So you wonder how QAnon got the script based on Epstein and Trump, twisted it around to make it that the Democrats and Pizzagate was the issue. You know, doesn't get more Machiavellian than that. What can I say?
The opportunity to meet with Carol, and listen, he needs to be the next president of Poland.
What can I say?
Do you understand me? There's 3 things that I've learned in my life, and I want to talk to you about them today. Does that sound fine? Number 1 is God. I want to talk to you about...
The God card comes out now. So we threaten people with God. That God is going to bring down the talisman from above if you do not do our bidding. God will save you because Trump is the chosen one. Like, come on now, folks. Sooner or later, you got to wake up. And you got to wake up out of this malaise of allowing this nonsense to be spread and just get back to treating people with decency and dignity. No more pain and suffering. That's just nonsense.
Faith and what it means and what it brings you for the value system that you embrace and what it does for you during challenging times. The second thing I want to talk to you about is freedom. And I'm going to share with you a few of my own personal stories of how...
And then they use the freedom card, but they take freedoms away from you. You look at the United States, you think you got more freedoms? You've got less freedoms. You got the National Guard in Washington and military in Washington, going to move them into Chicago, into New York. Like, come on. Sooner or later, you have to wake up to the reality of what's going on here. The reality. The reality? Yeah. So, in Canada, we got the same problem with conservatives like Pierre Poilievre and conservative influencers as well. But let's make the other point here. We're just going to just take a step back. So I showed you Kristi Noem. Now here you have Tusk with von der Leyen in Poland. Now this is after her plane had to land in Bulgaria, because of Russian phishing and spoofing of the GPS systems. So her plane had to land in Bulgaria. She met with Tusk, and this is to announce a new funding by the European Union and Commission to help fund stronger borders for Poland. So Tusk is the prime minister. Naroki is the guy that's meeting with Trump yesterday or today. I forget. I think it might have been yesterday. And this is why we've got a problem. And the thing is, it's creeped into Canada as well. So what I want to show you here to give further emphasis on my point, and I'm going to put links. Here's Tusk and Naroki. First clash. Strong words were spoken during the Cabinet Council. Yeah, of course. Now you make everything for Tusk twice as hard. And Naroki, I'm going to put these links up in the show notes so you can see them and check them out for yourself. But Naroki is just a Putin puppet. He's meeting with Trump, just met with Trump. Met with the Trumpster, there you go. Isn't that beautiful? These guys look so nice. So nice together. Absolutely marvelous, darling. What can I say? But this is the reason why Canada can't strike a fair deal or a fair trade deal with Trump, because you can't negotiate with Moscow's playbook. And you say, what? Don't say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. But yeah, it is so. And this is where you have to see how it's coming to Canada. And right here, CBC, 14 hours ago, cult leader Romana Didulo, arrested by RCMP, I believe in Saskatchewan. This happened in Saskatchewan. Now, just watch this here for...
radar of some who monitor cults.
So she tells them that she is the ultimate authority, that she is the ruler under natural law, She is effectively the supreme ruler of all the land. She tells them they don't have to pay taxes.
The group is tied to the QAnon movement, believing...
Did you just hear that? The group is tied.
The group is tied to the QAnon movement, believing Canada's laws...
Tied to the QAnon movement. This is the kingdomofcanada.ca, their website. Like, come on, folks. You know, you seen Trump-Putin handshake in Alaska. Trump gets Putin into the car with him. Who they're talking about and what they're talking about, you don't know. But the thing is, we got tariff, we got Alberta protests, separatism, and we got Pierre Poilievre just creating this divisive rhetoric that serves no one, and really does serve no one.
Do not apply to them, and has expressed violent anti-vaccination messages. RCMP in Saskatchewan say they have 24 hours after an arrest to lay charges. In the meantime, provincial agencies are conducting their own investigations, which could rule that the building is uninhabitable. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
So there you go, CBC News, Regina. So what's next on the slate here? The global rise of authoritarians. Zitale. I'm going to put a link in for that as well, so you can see that. Now, here's another thing that you've got to watch. You have to understand what's really going on. This is a CIA officer, and this is within the last 10 hours.
Because we're actually seeing the truth tellers paying the highest price. And I can't think of anywhere more dangerous than the intelligence community, the IC, for that to happen. Some of the people being punished are those who told the truth about the Iran bombings. Others are the ones who were involved in the Russia investigation and dared to tell the truth about that. And in some ways, I feel like up until this point, we have gotten really, really lucky as a country that the purging of the most experienced, most senior intelligence professionals, because they have told the truth, hasn't led to a catastrophe. That's got to be on your mind.
Yet. Yeah, it hasn't led to a catastrophe yet, because exactly everything that you said will eventually lead to some kind of a catastrophe, likely a national security catastrophe, which leaves the United States open and vulnerable in many ways, which I would say it already is because of a number of these things they're doing. So some specific examples of using intelligence in the wrong ways. We can even go back to the first Trump administration. John Ratcliffe, who's now director of CIA, he was acting DNI at that point, at one point during the Trump administration, the first one. And for example, he released a number of emails, which he said painted this picture that Hillary Clinton had created the entire Russia hoax. That's not the case. That those were emails that Russian intelligence had doctored and manipulated and played with in order to make the narrative that Hillary Clinton had done that. It was not true. But Ratcliffe presented it as if it were a CIA assessment. So that's bad. And again, now we are seeing this exactly what you were saying. The arbiters of truth are the ones who are being, who are having their security clearances taken. I've been calling it the inversion of truth, which this administration is very good at. People who we under normal circumstances would consider patriots and good people and arbiters of truth have become criminals and bad.
And this is what Pierre Poilievre does. Truce into non-truce and non-truce into truce. So now let's talk numbers. Let's talk about Canada and Mexico, which are not just neighbors. We are essential to the North American economy. USMCA, CUSMA or whatever you want to call it, used to be NAFTA. Trade dwarfs any U.S.-Russia trade. Like, U.S.-Russia trade is negligible, $3.5 billion. It's only $3.5 billion. That's it. No more, no less. Canada and Mexico together, trillions of dollars in trade, integrated supply chains, which makes for a big train of money, critical for U.S. manufacturing, autos, energy, and food security. Now, Trump's tariffs in Canada and Mexico hurt all three economies, with U.S. consumers paying higher costs. It's just as simple as that. Russia offers no reliable trade base, presently, short-term, or long-term. It just makes no sense. Really makes no sense. But Trump soft pedals Moscow while talking and hitting Ottawa and Mexico City with tough sanctions in the way of tariffs and various other rhetoric. So this isn't about free markets. It's about picking political winners and losers. It's really that simple. Political winners and losers. So we have auto plants, Ontario, Michigan, farmers, U.S. consumers, all paying higher prices. But here's the danger at home. Division here in Canada makes Canada weaker at the table. Do you understand that? This is very important. The danger at home in Canada is division makes Canada weaker at the table. Alberta's separatism, federal-provincial fights, fragmentations that Trump can exploit, and Pierre Poilievre is exploiting as well, which makes it even that much harder. And you've got a base that wants to separate from Alberta, and you have these conservative influencers that are fueling Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party. Cut. This is not the answer. And even Carney has got to get away from this cut, and trying to balance the budget, because this is not the way forward. This is not the future. The future is without pain and suffering. Got to get rid of this pain and suffering. Serves no one. Conservative influencers echo U.S. talking points. Canada's dependent. Ottawa is broken, etc., etc., etc. Just friggin' nonsense bullshit that serves no one. So, in closing here, if Canada wants a fair trade relationship with the U.S., it starts with resisting imported culture wars and standing united, not divided. Poilievre's speeches, Alberta protests, U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum, side by side with Russian propaganda headlines, is dividing Canada. Don't fall for that noise. And there's a lot of people and conservative influencers on YouTube think that they're doing a good job. You're just hurting us all because you've got no idea of the multidimensionality, cause and effect of your actions and behaviors. So Trump treats Russia like a partner and Canada like a punching bag. $3.5 billion in trade with Russia versus trillions integrated with Mexico and Canada? Come on now. The facts show why propaganda, politics, and division. If Canada wants fairness, it has to push back against all three. So this is borderline politics, but I'm going to show you one more thing before we go, because you just do not realize how close this really is. And got to go to my channel content here. My channel content. And here's the responses from one guy who claims to be in Alberta. Been posting on my channel for a long time. Benny Wirtz. President Trump knows what he's doing, and he's teaching clowns like Carnage Carney and Wig Tory they're irrelevant. And why he's responding is because he knows I know the truth. So I respond, Benny, Trump is a Russian operative based on my personal experience. Maybe you want to be part of Russia. And then this is the first time he responded, I am Russia, you clown. I am Russian, you clown. Try to keep up. So you got to ask him an important question like, do you hang out at the Duma? Not many people know what the Duma is. It's kind of like Queen's Park, main legislative buildings, you know. So if you're not in the know, you don't know what the Duma is. So he replies, my office is down the hall from Uncle Putin at the Kremlin. So he responded quickly, and he knows what the Duma is. So you have to understand, I know people that were putting Trump. Here's another thing. You got Trump with 7 warships off the coast of Venezuela, blasting little fishing boats that might be moving drugs around off the coast of Venezuela with missiles. And we have to deal with this here too. Like, this is very surreal. Doesn't get any better than that, folks. Doesn't get any better than that. So here we have one border, one truth. We have to get away from the noise, understanding that Russia and the influence and the propaganda of Russia is influencing Trump in the way, and that's why we've had a problem there. And this is why we've got the tariffs and all these destabilizing factors at play. And now you've got Putin, Kim Jong-un, and who else was there? The Belarus president, the guy from Belarus, right there front and center, walking with Xi Jinping for a military parade in China the other day. So, folks, you got to wake up. Wake up from the sleep. Questions, comments, questions. Subscribe if you find value as well. Post in the comment sections. Love and peace to everyone. Talk to you all soon. Ciao for now.